Jaylen Brown threw shade at Bronny again, and LeBron finally snapped. 18 months of silence ended in a shocking response that shook the NBA.
But the kid, listen, JB is doing, I kind of stopped giving a damn about it a long time ago.
LeBron James just spoke about the Jaylen Brown situation for the first time ever. What he said confirmed what everyone suspected. He hasn't forgotten, and he hasn't moved on. And the reason he chose this exact moment to speak? Nobody saw it coming. On February 22nd, 2026, the Boston Celtics crushed the Los Angeles Lakers 111-89 at Crypto.com Arena. It was a blowout that made fans want to change the channel. A loss that had Lakers fans lying awake at 2 a.m., wondering what went wrong. But it wasn't the score that got everyone talking the next day. It was what LeBron said during the post-game press conference. When asked about his relationship with Jaylen Brown, LeBron finally spoke publicly about the Bronny situation. And the way he did it shook the entire league. To really understand why LeBron's words hit so hard, you have to go back to the summer of 2024, a moment most people had already forgotten. A moment Jaylen Brown probably wishes the world would forget, but one LeBron James clearly never did. It was July 15th, 2024. The NBA Summer League was in Las Vegas, and the Lakers were facing the Celtics in an early exhibition game nobody usually cares about. But this game was different. This was the night Bronny James, the 55th overall pick in the 2024 NBA draft, was trying to prove he belonged in the NBA. The whole basketball world was watching. Bronny had just come through one of the most scrutinized draft processes ever. After a scary cardiac arrest scare at USC in 2023 and modest college stats, just 4.8 points per game, everyone had an opinion. Analysts, podcasters, even fans on Twitter, and sitting courtside that night, watching every move, was Jaylen Brown, the reigning NBA Finals MVP who had just led the Boston Celtics to a championship, and he wasn't alone. Brown was sitting with WNBA stars Kisri Gonzik and Angel Ree. During the game, a camera caught Brown turning to Gonzik and saying something that would follow him for years. There was no official audio, but lip readers analyzed the footage. What Brown seemed to say was harsh in its simplicity. He didn't believe Bronny was a professional basketball player. Gonzik's reaction made it worse. She seemed to agree, suggesting Bronny would end up in the G League. Then Brown added one more line that stung even more. Because of his last name, Bronny would stay with the Lakers no matter what.
It is. Jaylen Brown, man. NBA Finals MVP Jaylen Brown.
And it wasn't just some random analyst or retired player on TV. It was the reigning NBA Finals MVP himself. He watched LeBron James' son play in a summer league game, where Bronny scored just 4 points on 2 of 9 shooting, and told his friends that this kid didn't belong.
That means he had a front row view of one of the most talked about players in the NBA right now, Bronny James, the son of now teammate.
The clip went viral almost instantly. Within hours, it had millions of views, and every major sports outlet was talking about it. The debate was everywhere. Was Jaylen Brown out of line for what he said? Or was he just being honest about what everyone was already thinking?
Kai Gonzik, a former WNBA player, and gave an assessment of the younger James's play.
The very next morning, July 16th, Brown addressed the situation on social media. He posted on X, saying it was impressive to have your son in the NBA, that it showed greatness and longevity, and that Bronny had all the tools to succeed. He added that he looked forward to watching Bronny grow. Some people saw it as a sincere clarification. Others saw it as damage control from someone who got caught saying something he probably shouldn't have.
Brown appears to say, and I quote, "I don't think Bronny is a pro." Gonzik appears to respond in our part.
Here's what made it so complicated. Brown wasn't entirely wrong. That's what made it hurt so much. Bronny was a second-round pick with modest college stats, still recovering from a serious medical issue. Many analysts had already argued that he was on the Lakers roster partly because of who his father was, long before Brown ever said anything.
He says, "I think he'll be in the G League for sure." Brown appears to reply in part, and I quote, "Because of his name, he's going to be with the Lakers."
Over at Gil's Arena, the reaction was exactly what you'd expect. Gilbert Arenas and his team analyzed the situation from every angle and agreed that Brown had the right to his opinion, even if the way he said it wasn't great.
This is
That's wild.
if he did say it, y'all lip reading. Okay, cool. But
Yeah, had a camera on him.
The panel made an important point. Brown wasn't holding a press conference or posting on social media. He was just having what he thought was a private conversation with the people next to him, and a camera just happened to catch it.
Yeah.
so I'm pretty sure he thinks that way about some other guys.
Yeah. And as I mentioned before, private, not necessarily private.
That's the reality of being an NBA superstar today. There's no such thing as a private conversation when you're courtside at a nationally televised game. Every word, every expression, every gesture is recorded, analyzed, and dissected by millions. Jaylen Brown learned that the hard way, but the most important reaction didn't come at all. LeBron James said nothing. Not a word, not a tweet, not even a subtle Instagram post. For 18 months, the King stayed completely silent on the Jaylen Brown situation. And in the NBA, silence from LeBron speaks louder than any press conference. Everyone knows one thing about LeBron. He never forgets. He keeps track of everything, stores it away, and waits for the perfect moment to bring it out. That moment finally came on February the 22nd, 2026, that the Celtics had just beaten the Lakers by 22 points, a game that should have been the focus of the post-game press conference. Boston was playing elite basketball despite losing key players like Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, and Kristaps Porzingis. Their championship core had basically been dismantled and rebuilt, but they were still competing at the highest level. The reason was clear. Jaylen Brown was having the best season of his career. By February 2026, he was averaging 29.3 points, 6.9 rebounds, and 4.7 assists per game while shooting 48.3% from the field. He earned his fifth All-Star selection and was keeping the Celtics relevant when everyone had written them off. So, when a reporter asked LeBron about Brown's season and their relationship, everyone expected the usual polite answer: praise the opponent, stay classy, move on. And for a moment, that's exactly what LeBron did. He acknowledged Brown's incredible year and gave him credit for stepping up.
I think he just used the motivation of a lot of people just saying that they're going to have a down year because of, obviously JT being out, them losing Drew.
LeBron went on to praise how the Celtics stayed competitive, giving Brown direct credit for keeping the team afloat. He noted that Brown had used all the doubt and criticism as motivation.
He used it as motivation to keep them afloat. They're playing great basketball, and it's because of him and the rest of those guys. He's taking that next step.
And then came the pivot, the moment that turned a routine post-game answer into the most talked-about soundbite of the 2025-26 NBA season. LeBron's tone changed, his expression shifted, and he finally spoke the words that 18 months of silence had been building toward.
Our relationship has been, pretty respectful. Besides the shit he said about Bronny at Summer League.
There it was. After a year and a half of silence, LeBron James looked straight into the cameras and made it clear he hadn't forgotten what Jaylen Brown said about his son, not for a single second. Reporters immediately jumped in, asking if the two had moved past the incident. LeBron's response was measured. Other than that, we've been.
Other than that, we've been all right,
You guys able to get past that?
We'll be all right. We'll be all right. Yeah, we'll be all right.
Now listen to how LeBron said it. We'll be all right. He said it 3 times, and each time it sounded less convincing than the last. This wasn't a man who had moved on. It was a man choosing to be the bigger person while still showing that the wound was far from healed. Then LeBron addressed Brown's 2024 social media post, the one where Brown tried to fix his comments by praising LeBron's longevity and Bronny's potential.
I think he went on social media and said something about it. It's all good, but Bronny got a long way to go, but that's another story. So
that last part really stood out. Bronny still has a long way to go, but that's another story. LeBron acknowledged that his son is still developing. He didn't pretend Bronny was already an all-star, and he didn't get defensive about the criticism itself. What bothered LeBron wasn't that someone had an opinion about his son's game. It was who said it and how they said it. There's a big difference between an analyst breaking down a player on TV and an NBA player whispering about your kid to friends courtside while your son is on the court. The remarkable part? Despite everything, despite clearly not having forgotten or fully forgiven, LeBron pivoted back to praising Brown's basketball.